Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you to the episode on My Sweet Lord. We have been hearing about the sweet and loving pastime of our sweet Lord Sri Krishna, who is going to make his divine appearance very soon on Janmashtami. So, let us start today's episode by offering our prayers to the spiritual master and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna himself. I request all of you kindly join with me to offer these prayers. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much for joining this special episode. In fact, every day most of you are joining. I have been told that many of you are attending My Sweet Lord without missing even a single episode. I'm sure Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna must be very happy with you for your eagerness to hear about the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Today's pastime, My Sweet Lord pastime, is about the Lord who is actually immovable, but because of his devotee, he moved. So the title of today's My Sweet Lord is Immovable or I Am Movable. Let us begin today's topic by offering our prayers to the Lord. And who is that Lord? That Lord is glorified like this. Krishnam Vande. Krishnam Vande. Hey Krishna, I offer my humble obeisances. Krishnam Vande Mantha Pashadharam Divyarbhakritim. Hey Krishna, who is in the form of a divine child. Oh my dear Lord, hey sweet Lord Krishna, you are present in this temple. Which temple? Very soon I'll tell you. You are present in this temple as a small divine child, Divya Arbha Akritim. Arbha means the child. Divya means not an ordinary child, the Supreme Lord who is very divine. Krishnam Vande Divya Arbha Akritim. But how are you there? How are you present? What is your form? Mantha Pashadharam. You are holding butter churning rod. At home, mothers would be using some rod to churn the butter. Krishna is holding the butter churning rod and also the rope tied to that rod. Krishnam Vande Mantha Pashadharam Divya Arbhakritim Shikhabandham Trayopetam. Krishna, you have beautiful curly hairs. Krishna has beautiful curly hair. We all have seen that in Srila Prabhupada's painting. In fact, that also is being described in Sri Damodara Ashtaka, how Krishna's curly hair were actually making Krishna's face look even more beautiful. Shikhabandham, those curly hair are being tied. You know, when somebody is very small child, mother ties the hair of the child in the form of a knot. They say juttu. So generally, They tie this side one, that side one. When small children, many of you, in fact, must be having a childhood photo where your parents must have tied your hair and they must have taken a photograph of that, and they will be showing you, see, when you're a small child, this was your hair and this is how, it was tied. Shikhabandam Trayopetam. Krishna's hair has been, the curly hair has been tied one place, in this place, the center one, and this side. 1, 2, 3. Shikhabandham Trayopetam, in the 3 place. 1, 2, 3. Krishnam Vande Mantha Pashadharam Divyarbha Akritim. Shikhabandam Trayopetam Bhaishmi Madhvakararchitam. Hey Krishna, in this form, in this deity form, you are worshipped by the daughter of King Bhishmaka, that is Rukmini Devi, Bhishmi. And later you were worshipped by the great Acharya, Madhvacharya, Bhaishmi Madhvakararchitam. Krishnam Vande Manthapashadhanam Divyarbhakritim. Shikhabandam Trayopetam Bhishmi Madhvakararchitam. Hey Krishna, Udupi Krishna, you are the Krishna who is present in Rajatapitha, Udupi. Today's My Sweet Lord episode is about Udupi Krishna, who exchanged his loving pastime with one of his greatest devotees and made the whole world understand how Krishna, who is so great, actually you cannot move Krishna by showing him anything. You see, sometimes if there is a dog, you can make the dog move from one place to another place by showing some bread, by throwing some food. You can make move. If it is a dog, it will move by seeing some eatables. Some human beings, they don't move by seeing some bread and butter and all that. You have to show them power, position, sometimes bribe. In a corrupt countries, many things will make human beings move. But how will Krishna move? Krishna will move. You cannot offer him anything to make him move. The only way that Krishna can move is by our unalloyed devotional service. And what is that? Mamchayo avyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Krishna says, I can only move when you give me pure, unadulterated, when you give me pure, unadulterated devotion, love, when you show devotion which is completely free from any contamination, such love can move me. And that episode is what we are going to discuss. There was this couple that was a small, can't exactly describe as king. They were called Nayakas. Nayaka means a chieftain. That means there is a king, and under king there are many such Nayakas, right? And they will be taking care of a small place, like some villages and some portion of the kingdom, and such people are called Nayakas. And this, the couple, the husband and wife who were serving as Nayakas, they didn't have children for long time after the marriage. They go to Tirupati. You all know the famous place Tirupati, and they offer their prayer to Lord Tirupati Srinivasa Balaji for a son. In fact, the mother, who was so desperate for a child, she prays to Sri Srinivasa Govinda Balaji that, hey Krishna, hey Srinivasa, I'm bereft of any child. How is my life without a child? Hey Lord, my life has become like a barren place without any child. Please bless me with a son. And I'm sure if you give me a son, I will make him your servant. I'll make him your dasa. I will make him your greatest devotee. Please give me a son. And later, once they come back, this wife of a Nayaka, she was conceived. She is now pregnant and she was carrying the child in her womb. And very soon she delivered a beautiful baby boy, and the baby boy was named after Tirupati Srinivasa as Timmappa Nayaka. Nayaka was because that was their job. Timmappa in local language, Tirupati Tirumalesha. Tirumalesha was named him as Timmappa Nayaka. In this way, because of the parents' great prayers, the baby boy was born and he was growing in a great atmosphere of devotion. Just see the importance of the parenting and a devotional atmosphere at home. Because parents are devoted, parents are great devotees of the Lord. They go to temple, they pray to the Lord, and later when the child is born at home, there are so many devotional activities. And it is said, mother was a great staunch follower of Lord Krishna. And she would constantly be worshipping Krishna, doing Abhishekam to Krishna, offering Tulasi to Krishna. In this way, the child grew up in a great atmosphere of devotion. How fortunate. We all pray that such a great childhood be bestowed upon all the upcoming generation. Later, when the boy started growing, he became the apple of eyes of his community. Actually, he belonged to a community of the shepherd. Shepherd, as you all know, they take care of the sheep. They maintain thousands and thousands of sheep, and they collect the wool from the sheep's body, and they make the rugs and some shawls and all such things, and they sell. So that was their major income. So he belonged to so-called socially ostracized or socially lower caste system at that time. And as he grew up, he became famous because he was very charitable. In fact, it is said that once he actually discovered a great amount of treasure in his land, and it was so much of gold that he built a temple called Adikeshava temple in his place, the place where he was born, called Kaginele. He built a great temple for Krishna, Keshava temple. So because of that, he was glorified. But later, this boy, this young man, got his mind drifted away towards a woman called Krishna Kumari. He badly wanted to marry a woman, and he was fallen deep love. And for sake of this woman, he got into a fearsome battle with another political man, and there was a battle. There was a big fighting, and in this fight, in that battle, he was severely injured. So much so that whether he will be alive was a question. And the man who had attacked him, he thought this man is almost dead. This Timmappa Nayaka is almost dead. So they all left him and they went back. But actually he was alive. He was breathing. He was alive. And in that painful moment, he was fortunate enough to remember Krishna. You just see, Bhagavad Gita says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatante kalevaram. At the time of death, you must remember me, because at the time of death, there will be so much of pain. Practically, it is very difficult to remember anybody, because you will be so much suffering. You will not know anything beyond your pain. In fact, another great devotee, Kulashekara, says, Kapavitta Pata, he says, Kapa Pitta Vata, Prana Prayana Kale, At the time of death, everything will be imbalanced and it's so difficult to remember Krishna. But this man, Timmappa Nayaka, because he had great childhood, because of his parenting and because of, he had so much of devotional exposure in his childhood, actually, he started offering prayers to Lord Krishna. Hey Keshava, hey Krishna, hey Madhava. Like that he was remembering. Then immediately the Lord appeared in his dream and he said, hey, my dear devotee, did you call me? And then this man, this devotee says, my dear Lord, I just remembered you. I did not ask anything, but I was just remembering you. When somebody is in difficulty, they remember the most beloved person. And I happen to remember you because you are my most beloved person. And then the Lord assured him, hey Timmappa Nayaka, my dear devotee, your mother had promised that if she gets a baby boy, she will make the boy into my servant, my dasa. And now it's an opportunity for you. You're fighting for life and death. If you wish to become my devotee, if you wish to continue your life as my servant, I can bless you to live the remaining life. And then immediately, Timmappa Nayaka was so happy. He was so jubilant. My dear Lord, I'm always yours. I'm always living for you. In fact, when I got so much of gold in my life, immediately I thought of building temple for you. My life is already for you. Hey Krishna, hey Madhava, please do not even have a second thought whether you kill me, whether you keep me alive. I'm always your servant. Bhaktivinoda Thakur captures this mood very beautifully in his prayers. He says that Jivane Marane Gati Tava Puja Nivedana Sundara He Manahari Giridhari. He says that Jivane Marane, whether I'm alive or I'm dead. Hey Krishna, Sundara He Giridhari, Hey Giridhari, Govardhana Giridhari, my life is for you. You decide what you want to do. So the Lord blessed him. Okay, you become my devotees and spread devotion everywhere. And that way, he miraculously got cured and he became a very surrendered and ardent devotee henceforward. But you see, this a specific episode revolves around a devotee who appeared in a time where there are a lot of discrimination just because you're born in a particular caste or community. This happened in the 14th century because in the 14th century there was a lot of casteism due to misunderstanding of the Vedic culture. This man, even though he was such a great devotee, Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies, Narada Muni himself clarifies that a person who is a great devotee, yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, if you are a devotee, all great qualities manifest in you and nobody bothers about your caste. But ignorant society was discriminating. They were mistreating him. And this 14th century great devotee, when he was traveling everywhere, remembering Krishna, glorifying Krishna, and spreading Krishna consciousness, he comes in contact with his great spiritual master from whom he takes initiation. At that time, there was an extraordinary spiritual master called Vyasaraya Tirtha, who was one of the greatest acharya in the Madhva Parampara that ISKCON originates from. And that Vyasaraya Tirtha happily accepted this great devotee of Lord Krishna as his disciple, much against the apprehensions of his other disciples, because all other disciples of Vyasaraya Tirtha, they happened to be born in caste Brahmana, and they were very angry and they were very upset that their spiritual master is accepting somebody from a very low caste community. How it is possible? How is this? But somehow they tolerated this. And Vyasaraya Tirtha told him, you be in our matha, keep doing Krishna Seva. In this way you spend your time. But all other the ashram residents, they were just misbehaving with this devotee, and they were The only reason was he happens to be from a lower caste. So you're from a lower caste. How can you be a devotee of Krishna? Because because you are born in a so-called lower caste, shepherd. How can you develop devotion? This is all meant only for so-called upper caste. This is all meant only for those who have studied Vedas and Upanishads in Gurukulas. Who is this man? He does not have gone through Gurukula system. He has not gone through Upanayana system. He has not gone through purification system. So in this way, they were demeaning him, discriminating against him, and so much of ill treatment they were offering. They never gave him eye-to-eye contact. They never gave him proper respect. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavehastini. If you are really qualified, if you really have true knowledge, if you have got any real knowledge, the first thing is that you don't discriminate people based on their social situation, because you will see everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. Mamaivamsha Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Krishna says, everybody is my part and parcel. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. I am the father. I am the cause of all of you. So why to discriminate? Anyway, so the so-called scholarly people, they were only giving ill treatment for him. In one that incidents, it so happened that the spiritual master of this great devotee, he called everybody and gave one banana each to each, and told all of you should go and eat this banana in a place where nobody sees you. And all the disciples thought, okay, we will do this. So next day, they all came back, and the Vyasaraya Tirtha, the spiritual master, he engineered this incident just to bring forth the great quality of this devotee, and at that time he was initiated. And his initiation itself is a very beautiful, how he got this name. I'll shortly share that. And he called everyone and he told, did you eat the banana? And one devotee, he said, yes, my dear Guru, I ate this banana. Oh, he said, I told you that you should eat banana with the condition that nobody should see you. He said, yes. You know what I did? I went to my home. I covered myself with a blanket. I went inside the blanket. I ate banana. Nobody saw me eating banana. Another disciple came forward. He said, my dear spiritual master, Vyasaraya Tirtha, even I also ate banana. He said, how did you eat banana? Did you take care of this criteria? He said, yes. Actually, I went inside the water. I went nearby river. I went inside the water and then I ate banana. Nobody, who can see inside the water, inside the river? I ate this. And then another devotee came forward. He said, I ate banana. I hid myself behind a tree. I ate quickly before even an animal saw it. So I ate this. In this way, everybody had eaten banana. There was only one person, this devotee, Timmappa Nayaka, who was just with great sadness, with the sorrow that I could not fulfill my Guru's order, that I was supposed to eat this. I was supposed to eat this in a place where nobody watches me. He was standing with banana in his hand and everybody was looking at him and making fun of him. Look, this, low caste person, he doesn't have any intelligence. He doesn't even know how to fulfill such a small instruction. And he comes forward. And then his Guru asked him, hey, why didn't you eat this banana? He said, my dear spiritual master, I went everywhere. I went place to place. I searched a place where nobody saw. I could not find any place where nobody was there. Then immediately some people bounced on him. Hey, what are you talking? Don't you see there are so many empty places where no one is there? How can you say that there is no place where no one is watching? Then immediately he said, I beg all of your forgiveness. Actually, wherever I go, I was only, yes, there were no human beings. And in some places, there were no human beings, but there were animals. In some places, there were animals, but there were no human beings. Like this. But I could not find a place. I could find a place where no human beings and no animals, but I could not find any place where Krishna is not watching me. I could not find. I know Krishna is always watching us. How can I eat? Because Guru told that I should eat this when no one watches. When Krishna is watching me, I could not eat this. And when everyone heard this, they were wonderstruck by his God consciousness. How he's conscious of God. How every moment he knows the presence of God. You see, he was such a great elevated devotee. But even then, they were not ready to accept him as a devotee of Lord Krishna and give him any proper respect. And Krishna was watching all these things. So he told, my dear Guru, my dear spiritual master, I have a desire. I have heard by another great devotee that a great Supreme Lord Krishna in his baby form has traveled all the way and has come and he has been residing in a Rajatapita place called Udupi, where Madhvacharya established Dvaita philosophy and preached Krishna consciousness. I want to go there and I want to have darshan of Lord Krishna. Please give me your permission. And Vyasaraya Tirtha blessed him. Yes, Kanaka, please go and have darshan. And he travels all the way and he comes. And you know how the society was at that time. When this lower caste person was walking on the road, others would avoid going in that place. They would even become very angry. Why are you walking when we are walking? And they would not even not let him touch anything else. So like this kind of a mistreatment and ill treatment was given to him. And he reached Udupi, where he had great amount of eagerness to have the darshan of Lord Krishna. But as you all can expect, with all this caste system, he was not allowed inside the temple to have the darshan of his dearest Lord Krishna. He was so disappointed. He waited days and days and days praying outside of the temple. Krishna, hey Krishna, please give me your darshan. Of no use. They were not ready to allow him because he happens to be from the lower caste. And he went on offering his prayers. And he was not prepared to stay so long in that place. There was no arrangements. Nobody was giving him a food because majority of the people happened to be so-called upper caste and they had problem with him because he was a lower caste person. He didn't have food to eat. And he was fasting. There was no way. He was fasting and he was praying, Krishna, Krishna, when will I see you, Krishna? When will I see you, hey Krishna? And finally, one day when he was praying and he was hungry like this, Krishna, who is there in the altar, he appeared before him. Concealing is the real form in an ordinary boy form. He told, hey man, who are you? I see you that you are a stranger in this city. I've never seen you. And then this devotee replied, Timmappa Nayaka, my dear small boy, you're so compassionate. In this city, nobody is talking to me. You are the only first person to talk to me. Yes, I'm not from this place called Udupi. I'm actually from some other place. I've traveled all the way. I've come here to have the darshan of my Lord Krishna. But I don't have an opportunity. What to do? And then the boy, actually Krishna, he asked, but you seem to be very tired. You seem to be not having any food. He said, yes, I'm starving. I'm actually not having any food because I didn't get any opportunity to have food. Then he said, why don't you go and eat food? He said, I'm a poor man. I don't have any food. I don't have any money to go and have food. Then immediately the boy said, don't worry. I'm there in this city. Whoever comes, I make them arrangement. He immediately took out his necklace and gave it to this devotee. And that was a golden necklace and gave. And in this way, this devotee goes to one jewelry pawnbroker and gives him that jewel and takes some money and he goes and eats some food. And next day, again Krishna comes And again he gives his golden jewelry to this devotee and again tells him to go and have some food. In this way, when the news spread that this man, a new man has come and he has been waiting, he has been camping, but is not allowed. They were all becoming very angry. At that time, the temple priest noticed something very, very unusual. Actually, some of the jewels on Lord Krishna's deity is missing. They were shocked. How the deity jewel is missing? The deity has so many ornaments, the crown, the earrings, the necklace, and the pearls, the hara, and all that, and it is missing. And they were shocked. They started an investigation. And when they started to do investigation, they discovered that some very precious jewels are found with one of the jewelry man in the Udupi city. And they go and they search and they figure out, and all these jewels are actually deposited by this man. And this man, every day he comes and he has given this, he has deposited this, and he has taken some money for going and eating. They were so angry. This low caste man, not only he is unqualified, untouchable, he's also a thief. Just see why we don't allow such people inside the temple. And in this way, they got him, they brought him, and they started beating him. They started rebuking him and asking him, tell how you came inside the temple, how you entered inside the altar, how dare you stole the deity jewels, how did you do this? There is so much of security for the temple and we ourselves don't go inside the altar. How dare you went inside? How you got these jewels? Like this, they were questioning him, beating him very badly. And he was only saying, my dear Lord, what is this? You called me to your place. You actually inspired within my heart. Ishvara sarvabhutanam ruddeshe arjuna tishtati. You told I am there in everybody's heart and you are there in my heart. You gave me desire. You gave me interest. Hey Krishna, what is this? You brought me here and now you didn't give me darshan. Now you're giving me bad name. You're giving me the bad name that I'm a thief. I'm your devotee, hey Krishna. What is this? He said, my dear devotees, my dear priest, I don't know. I've not done any theft. I've not stolen any jewelry. I just came here with the desire to have the darshan of my beloved Lord Krishna. Hey Lord, hey Krishna. It is said, Dwaravatim sakala bhagyavatim upeksha. Dwaravatim sakala bhagyavatim upeksha. Krishna, you were actually in the Dwaravati. Dwaravati means the Dwaraka. Today, Dwaraka also was called Dwaravati in the Mahabharata. So Krishna, the deity in Udupi, he is introducing this devotee. He is saying that Dwaravatim sakala bhagyavatim upeksha. Hey Krishna, you neglected, you ignored all the opulence of the Dwaraka. Dwaraka is supposed to be one of the most opulent place. You see, all of us, we have desire to live in an opulent home, opulent city. Like many people want to relocate to US because it is an opulent country. There are all facilities. Krishna, you are already living in a most opulent city where 16,108 golden palaces are there. Chintamani prakara satmasa kalpa vrikshu, that was your palace, that was your place. Dwaravatim sakala bhogyavatim sakala bhagyavatim upeksha. And Gopala Bala Lalanakara Pujanam Cha. Not only you neglected, not only you ignored the Dwaravati, Dwaraka's opulence, Gopala Bala Lalanakara Pujanam Cha. They were so nicely worshipping you, Gopala Bala Lalanakara. The gopis and the gopas and the Vrindavan devotees, they were so nicely taking care of you, Krishna. Dwaravatim Sakala Bhagyavatim Upekshya Gopala Bala Lalanakara Pujanam Cha Vardhim Vadugruham Upetya Samadvaha. Vardhim, you crossed the ocean. Where is Udupi? Udupi is in Karnataka, coastal. And where is Dwaraka? It is in Gujarat, in another coastal. You all the way traveled, my dear Lord. And when you traveled, you crossed the ocean to reach this place. And the ocean is actually it's a house of your wife's father. Your wife is Lakshmi, and Lakshmi Devi's father is Samudra Deva. And you, if you wish, if you wanted, you could have stayed back. You could have stayed back in your wife's father's house. That is Samudra. That is in Sanskrit called Vardhim. Vardhim Vadugraha. Vadhu means wife. Vadugraham. Vadugraham means the home of your wife's father. Vardhim Vadugraham Upetya. You crossed the ocean. You did not stay in the father's place of your wife. Upetya Samadvaha. You came here to be worshipped by your devotee Madhvacharya. Dwaravatim Sakala Bhagyavatim Upekshya Gopala Bala Laranakara Pujanam Cha Vardhim Vadugraham Upetya Samadvaha. At last he says, Hey Krishna, Yadyasti Rajata Peetham Gariyaha. This place, Udupi Rajata Peetha, is so great because it is chosen by you. Krishna, it is chosen by you. You came here. It is your choice to stay. It is your desire to live here. So it is such a great place. I came to this great place to see you, and you are treating me like this, Krishna. You see, when he was offering prayer, they were beating him. They were so badly beating him. Then he started offering prayers. Krishna, hey Madhava, Madhusudana, my dear Lord, please come, please protect me. He said, hey Krishna, I'm so much calling you. I'm calling you, Krishna, 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 I'm calling you. Are you not able to hear me? Are you not able to hear my voice? Why are you not able to hear Krishna? Is it because I have heard, Krishna, you stay in Vaikuntha, and it is said Vaikuntha is beyond this world. Vaikuntha is beyond the material world. It is far, far away. It is in ocean of milk. And this ocean of milk is supposed to be very far from this place, because somebody is very far. When you call somebody, if they are near to you, they are able to hear you. Oh, he is calling. And if somebody is very far, they are not able to hear you. Hey Krishna, is it because you are staying in an ocean of milk, the Kshira Samudra, in the Vaikuntha? Is it that reason? It's very far and you are not able to hear my cry. I'm crying. I'm calling. I'm beseeching you, Krishna. Krishna, come. You're not coming. It's because you're staying far away. Is that the reason? But Krishna, I have a doubt. When Gajendra, when he called you, Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yataye Tachidatmakam Purushayadi Bijaya Pareshaya Vidhimahi, he also called you, Krishna. At that time you immediately came and protected him. So you could hear Gajendra's calling. Krishna, in Mahabharata, when Draupadi, she was dragged, she was insulted, she was disrobed, she was mistreated by that rascal Dushyasana. At that time, she kept calling you, Krishna, Govinda, Damodara. At that time, you immediately came and protected her, Krishna. You came and protected Gajendra. And that small boy called Prahalada, he was just 5-year-old, Krishna. And that boy who doesn't even know what is right, what is wrong, such small boy, he was just chanting Narayana, Narayana. And his father got angry and he was harassing that boy. Immediately you came and protected Krishna. Krishna, I am calling you. You're not coming, Krishna. Like this, he was offering prayer. And when he offered this prayer, what happened? What happened? What did Krishna do? Let us watch a small video clip. And in this small video clip, it is very beautifully, it is shown how Krishna reciprocated, how Krishna, he actually fulfilled Aham Bhakta Paradhina. I belong to my devotees. I do everything for my devotees. How did Krishna do that? Let us watch. I request all of you to please pay attention on the screen and watch this video.
Krishna! 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 Krishna!
In this way, the Supreme Lord, the sweet Lord, who does not care for so-called social discrimination, low birth, high birth. In fact, Prahalad Maharaj confirms this. He says that Vishant, he says that somebody may be born in so-called high-class family, Aravinda Nabha Vimukhat, if that person is not interested in the Lord, is worse than a person who is born in so-called low-caste family. Shapacham. Shapacha means he may be born in a dog-eater's family, but he's a great devotee. Vishad Vipad, Vishad Vipra, you may be a great Vipra, but you're not interested in Krishna, making Krishna happy. But here is a devotee, he may be so-called low caste, but actually if he's a great devotee, Krishna is interested. Aravinda Gajayutha Paya, it is the Krishna who is interested in devotion, bhakti, pure love. And Krishna, as you all saw in the video, he moved. Actually, when the deity is installed, when the deity has done pratisthapana, it is done achala pratisthapana. In Sanskrit, chala means the moving. Achala means once you keep the deity in the temple, it will not move. It will remain like that forever to bless the devotees. But Krishna broke that. He said, I am movable. I am immovable, but I am movable only by devotion. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Krishna never left his devotees. Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktya pradashyati. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, hey Arjuna, you declare, you make this promise. What is that? Krishna will never leave his devotees. He will always come to rescue his devotees. Like this devotee was asking Krishna, you came and protected Gajendra. Krishna, you came and protected Draupadi. Krishna, you came and protected Prahalada. Are you not protecting me? Krishna immediately broke the wall. Actually, the temple, even if you go today, you can see The deities in all the temples, either they're facing the east or they face the northern direction. But here in this temple, Krishna is facing the west direction because the original temple, the original deity was there facing the east. And because this devotee later he was glorified as Kanakadasa. Dasa means the servant, Kanaka means golden. You're a golden servant of Krishna. You're not an ordinary servant, you're a golden servant. Because Krishna came and gave personally his gold to you. You are golden and your devotion is golden. You are a golden servant, you are a golden devotee, you are a Kanakadasa. One of the great Acharya Vadiraja gave him the name Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa was tied behind the temple and he was beaten. And to rescue him, to give him darshan, because he was waiting for Lord's darshan for so many days, Krishna turned himself back. He moved himself in the opposite direction and he broke the wall. He gave the darshan. In this way, Krishna demonstrated the whole world that he is the sweet Lord to his devotees. He's always sweet. Pastimes are sweet. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram, Krishna madhuradipate sakalam madhuram. Hey Krishna, everything about you is extremely sweet. You are my sweet Lord. This is the episode that we all heard today. So I will be showing you another one small video, 1 minute video, where you will all get the darshan of this Lord Krishna, Udupi Krishna, Dwaravatim Sakala Bhagyavatim Upeksha. This deity of Lord Krishna, which that Kanakadasa was hankering to get darshan, was personally worshipped by Rukmini Devi in Dwaraka, because Rukmini, she married Krishna and she did not get an opportunity to see Krishna's Bala Rupam, and she had this great desire to see Krishna's Bala Rupam. When she heard from Revati, Balarama's mother, how Krishna was so beautiful in his child form in Vrindavana, she requested Krishna to grant him that Bala Rupa Darshana, and Krishna gave this deity to Rukmini Devi, and Rukmini Devi personally worshipped Bhaishmi Madhvakararchitam. Bhaishmi, the daughter of Bhishmaka Raja, that is Rukmini Devi, Kararchitam, personally you are worshipped by Rukmini Devi, and that Lord crossed all the way from Gujarat, from Dwaraka, came to Rajatapita. It is not an ordinary place where Krishna himself decided to stay. Dwaravatim Sakala Bhagyavatim Upeksha. You neglected that wonderful place. Gopala Bala Lalanakara Pujanamcha. You are worshipped by great devotees of Vrindavan. Gopala Bala Lalana and all of these people. Vardhim Vadugraham Upetya Samadvaha. Yadyasti Rajatapitham Gariyasi. I would like to invite all of you to have darshan of Rajatapita, Udupi, Krishna temple, and where Krishna broke the wall to give darshan to his devotees. That is now called Kanaka Kindi. That hole is now named after this great devotee Kanaka Kindi, through which now everyone has to see Krishna through that hole only, because Krishna broke that broke the wall and made the hole. Now everyone has to see where Krishna gave darshan to Kanakadasa. So request all of you to please watch this video, have darshan of Rajatapita Udupi Krishna and take his blessings. Hare Krishna.